Hey everybody, it's Jasmine, and today I want to talk about wisdom teeth. Now, currently today I am 8 days post-op off of my last wisdom tooth extraction. I've had a total of 3 separate surgeries, and I just want to talk about my experiences, like finances, and what I ate, anything like that. So I feel like it's only right to start from the beginning. So my first wisdom tooth that I got out was the top left here, and I was 17 years old. I was a senior in high school, and I just remember feeling more so discomfort than pain because it actually grew in straight. Now that was great because I was also very scared to tell my parents that I was gonna get my wisdom tooth out because I was like, oh my God, she's expensive, you know? So I kind of waited a really long time to tell my parents like, hey, she's here. I actually waited until the entire tooth grew out like an actual molar. I don't know why I did that, because you actually could either have a really great experience where it grows in straight like me, or it could impact the rest of your teeth and mess up with the alignment of your entire teeth. Luckily for me, it grew in straight, which was great. I ended up telling my parents eventually, and they set an appointment to get it extracted. Now, because it was grown in straight and because like they did the x-rays and stuff, they were like, we're just gonna numb you. And I actually went to a family dentist at the time. This was before I switched dental offices. They ended up just like numbing me real quick. I think it was only like 2 shots of numbing. And I just remember feeling like yanking, and then boom, it came out. So for a lot of people, I know that if it grows in straight, they're able to just like give you a tooth like this. So yes, they actually told me that day that they predicted that the rest of my wisdom teeth would come in the span of 6 months. So they were like, we're gonna see you in 6 months. And my wisdom teeth didn't actually come in until I was 20. Which was like, okay, whatever. So in the end of 2018, early 2019, I started getting some pain, especially in the top right. So I decided to go in. I was really scared because I was like, man, I don't think I'm ready. So I just decided, okay, we're just gonna go in, get the x-rays, and turns out all 3 that were left, they were sprouting. They were like budding. I went to a different office at this point because it's been like, what, 3 years? So I was at a different surgeon's office, and I really hated that experience. I think my second experience was like the worst experience of my life. The first experience, they took it out and I was able to eat the next day, like without any issues. The actual wisdom tooth hole, like they didn't even stitch it up. Like it was literally like not even a big deal. Like it was literally just like a tooth extraction. It wasn't even surgery, you know what I mean? So I was able to eat. I didn't swell, which was amazing. And the most pain that I felt was getting punched in the face. And that was it. I healed really, really fast. I think by the end of the week, I was like on my feet, ready to go. So I just thought, you know what? I am nervous about getting this out, but at the same time, like my first experience was so good that what is there to lose, right? So we go in for the consultation, and they told me that insurance was only gonna cover like so much. So if I were to get all 3 out in that one day, I would have to pay an additional like $1,000. And at that time, I actually got laid off from my job, and I was struggling financially, and that was not good. So I ended up asking them, well, how much would it cost if you just take these 2 out? You know, like I'm trying to save money. And they told me if I took these 2 out after insurance, I would only have to pay like $200. So I was like, okay, I think I could do it. So I then asked them like, how much is it if I go under local anesthesia, which is just numbing, or under sedation, which is going to sleep. Now, sedation was gonna be a lot of money. It was gonna be like, for just these 2 and then sedation, I think it was gonna be like $1,000 as well. So it was kind of like, oh shit, you know, like I have to like get them out, and I am feeling pain at this point because it was coming in sideways. So I wanted to just get it over with, you know, man. So I got these 2 out. I did local anesthesia, so I was awake during the whole thing. I hated it. I really did, because like, you know when they're gonna be cutting. And I know that's like, even with me talking about it, I'm like, ugh. But it's just the solid truth. Like you just can't avoid it if you're going under local anesthesia. Like you just can't avoid it. Like you just know what's going on. You know what's happening. You know when they're gonna put in stitches. Like you just know. You hear them talking. Like it's just not fun. And then after I got these 2 out, my cheek was so swollen, like it was so big already, and I was like, man. So I go home and I just want to sleep. Like at this point, like I'm just so over it. I'm like, bruh, like I just want to just sleep, forget about it. But within a couple hours I woke up because of the excruciating pain that I felt, and I immediately started crying. I was crying because I couldn't tell anyone that I was in pain. Like I was so swollen, like my mouth could not move. The dentist also prescribed me 2 different medications. Now, when I first got my wisdom tooth out, this one up here, they didn't really prescribe me anything. It was just like a normal extraction. So they didn't really give me like a list of like how to take care of it. They were just like, you're done. Like it's gonna heal, like it's gonna be okay. But this one, they gave me like a long list of instructions, and then they also gave me 2 medications that they prescribed me with, which was an antibacterial medication and then ibuprofen. Now, I am very familiar with ibuprofen. I've been prescribed it many, many times because of my period pains. So I was like, okay, like cool, like I just now have like more ibuprofen. Awesome. But you could definitely find ibuprofen over the counter, like it's not even a big deal. So I think the main thing that really made me feel like absolute crap was that antibacterial medication, because it literally wipes you clean of all types of bacteria, whether that's good bacteria or bad bacteria. So the main purpose for me taking it was so that these 2 teeth did not get infected. It was like, it was just so bad, because it's like you're supposed to take it on an empty stomach and then you just feel like absolute crap, you know? So the healing process was just so horrible for me. I didn't fully heal my swelling until like 3 weeks after, which I feel like is so long. And of course I was icing. Of course I was putting like a warm compress on my cheek. Nothing was just doing it. When I was healing, it was really hard for me to eat, because it wasn't just like I was getting 1 out this time, it was 2, and it was my top and bottom. So it was really hard for me to drink, it was hard for me to eat, it was hard for me to swallow, and on top of that, I have really sensitive temples. And you're probably like, Jasmine, temples? Like your temples are up here. Exactly. So when I eat granola or anything hard, my temples get really, really sore, like from chewing. And I felt like because I was in so much pain here, the pain just traveled up, and like my temples just were always throbbing, they were always sore, like I was eating like bags and bags of granola, and it was just not fun. So eating was a really hard task for me to do, but I had to eat because I had to take my ibuprofen. And if I didn't take my ibuprofen, I would be in so much pain, you know what I mean? I was in such a huge pickle, and I was so hungry. I have a really fast metabolism, so I am always hungry. Like there's just no denying it. So I just felt really miserable for 3 weeks, and I feel like because my surgeon prescribed me those antibacterial pills, I just felt like that was kind of adding on to the pain that I was feeling, and it was just horrible. So going into my last wisdom tooth that had to be extracted, so this was 8 days ago, today is Wednesday, I was really nervous because I had 2 experiences. One where it was perfectly fine, I was able to eat, I was able to enjoy my days, and then another where I was literally depressed for like 3 weeks. And there was a lot of things that were also going on, like it was winter, it was raining, I had seasonal depression at the time, and I was just in pain, man. Like those 3 weeks I think were like the roughest 3 weeks that I definitely endured. Not the roughest, but like one of the roughest. 2019 was just rough in general. So when I was going in for my consultation on my last tooth, I was just scared because I was like, I don't want pain. I have a very low pain tolerance. So I switched to a different surgeon. So I had 3 different surgeons for 3 different extractions. This one was another family friend, and she was just so amazing. She was talking to me about different things, like how I was able to heal. She also didn't approve of the antibacterial medication that I told her about. I literally told her everything, all of the things that I was nervous about, and she talked me into just getting sedated. She just told me, Jasmine, I know, like, you know, you've gone under local anesthesia, I know you're scared of needles, but just get put to sleep. Like, it'll like be over with. Like, you don't have to like think about it. You don't have to hear anything. Like, it'll be okay. Now, the cost of being sedated, again, was kind of expensive. So if I went under local anesthesia, it wouldn't have costed me any additional fees, but because I was put to sleep and I got a wisdom tooth extraction, I only had to pay like $160 after. When I got sedated, she inserted an IV in my arm to put me to sleep, and I am so scared of needles. I am terrified of needles. Like, I wish I could be that person who could just draw blood and like give it out, but like my fear for needles is so large that I can't do it. Like, I literally, like I can't. I was so terrified of seeing the needle. I was terrified of feeling the needle. I was terrified of thinking about the needle. I was in the room by myself. My mom was in the waiting room because you're supposed to have somebody there if you're gonna be sedated. And I was sitting in the chair and I was just crying. I was like crying my eyes out, and I just didn't want to be there. I was just like, bruh. Like, I even told them, I was like, bruh, I'd rather just get put under like local anesthesia, just like get the needle away from me. And I feel like because my surgeon was so nice and because she was a family friend, like, I felt like she really put me to ease, and she told me everything was gonna be okay. And she put like this cold spray on my arm so that I didn't feel the insertion at all, which was great. It was beautiful. And I feel like I was so nervous still, so I didn't sleep until like a few minutes later because I was so anxious, I was so nervous. And she asked me if I was tired yet, and I was like, no. Like, literally, I was like, no, like, I'm not gonna wake. And so she told me to relax because I was definitely tensing up, and she told me to clear my mind, make a blank slate. And then I started thinking about something happy, and I was thinking about Disneyland because Disneyland is like my favorite place ever. And before you knew it, I was asleep. This experience was very similar to my first experience. So I was really appreciative of it because I didn't feel as much pain as these two. And I was feeling around my mouth, and I was actually like flashing the light inside my mouth to like see what was up. And there wasn't that many cuts in my mouth. And I think that was another major contribution onto why I wasn't feeling as much pain as I did in the past. So that was beautiful. That was really nice. When I woke up, I was still numb. I woke up and I did feel a little nauseous, but I feel like everyone feels a little nauseous. You're not supposed to eat prior to surgery. I woke up with gauze in my mouth, and I also, this was the first time I was ever given this, but I got like a little head wrap, so like it goes on your face like this. And then there's 2 sides to this, so you slip one of these in. It was just like no time wasted. It was just like, oh, she's done, wrap her up. So it was really good. It was really great. And I felt like from Tuesday, day of operation, to maybe around Sunday, I was having like troubles opening my mouth as wide as I am right now. After like Saturday, that's kind of when like it was like starting, like my mouth was starting to open up a little wider and wider. So definitely Monday was the day where I definitely felt like, hey, I can talk normally. Like I can open my mouth normally. I could smile, I could laugh. So Tuesday happened, so that was a week post-op, and then today is 8 days post-op. So I definitely feel better after a week. I do still feel sore, but I know that in a couple days I'm gonna feel great. Now, let's talk about like the other stuff within the healing process. So you're not supposed to use a straw or do any sucking motions, so no smoking, like anything like that for the first 2 weeks after operation. Now that's not a problem to me. Like I barely use straws in general, so it's not a problem. I know they recommend soft foods within the first 3 days, but there are some people who literally have eaten a burger day of operation, which blows my mind. I don't know how you could do that, but it can happen. I definitely stuck with the regimen that my surgeon gave me. She wrote it on a piece of paper. So I stuck with very liquidy foods. First 3 days, I was hungry. I felt like I was complaining to my friends all day long that I was so hungry. My mom made porridge. The first 2 days, I just ate it plain. I had a little baby spoon. So the spoon itself was like this big because I could not fit a regular size spoon in my mouth. And that's totally fine. You'll probably experience that too. So I had a baby spoon, and it was really hard because like I couldn't open my mouth fully the first day. So everything was like dripping off my lips, which wasn't attractive or cute. But then I think day 3, I was just like, bruh, I need something solid. So I started putting like really watery, mushy rice within my porridge. So I mixed it up, I microwaved it just so it could like get really, really soft and in a quicker time because I was hungry. Like I was just like, bruh, I need it now and I need it in 30 seconds. So I did that. I was able to just swallow it straight. And another thing that I was also eating was Go-Gurts and Danimals. Now I was trying to avoid spoons as much as possible simply because I couldn't open my mouth. So when I was laying in bed, I wanted gravity to do all the work. So I had a Go-Gurt in my mouth and I was just like slowly like just squeezing it in. And then the Danimals, you just drink it. I also was drinking a lot of fruit juice. My mom brought a lot of those home and I was just craving sweets. I unfortunately was on my period the day that I got my wisdom tooth out. So I was just in a pickle, man. I was literally craving everything under the sun. I wanted so many sweets. So when my mom brought the fruit juice, I was like, yes, give it, yes. It wasn't until the Friday after, so that's like what, 4 days post-op, where I wanted to eat noodles. I wanted to wait until after the 3-day threshold to actually have something like actually solid. So I decided to make some noodles at home. I made them really, really soggy and I was just slurping them up. It was great. My mouth was kind of open at that point to actually like fit chopsticks in my mouth as well. But other than that, that's pretty much just been my diet. I'm really excited because now I can actually eat, I could actually munch, but like not munch too much, you know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna go and eat a peanut. I'm not gonna do that to myself because I do still feel sore, and I feel like if I do have something extremely crunchy, it's not gonna do me any justice. It's gonna hurt me even more. So I'm still waiting. You should fully heal by the end of 2 weeks. So for me, that's gonna be until next Tuesday. So I still have a ways to go, but for now I'm comfortable. Like I can sleep on this side without any issues. So I think that concludes my video. I hope that this was helpful to you guys. I hope that my experiences from all 3 different surgeries were able to help you out to kind of see like what route to go. And you know, I mean, everyone's healing process is really, really different. So I hope that, you know, with some of my insights, like it was kind of helpful to you. But if you do have questions, let me know. I'd be more than happy to answer them. And if I forgot to mention anything, I will have it in the description box below as always. So again, I love you guys so much and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye! Peace out, Girl Scouts.